You think your life is falling apart, but what if I told you it's actually falling into place? What if everything you call a delay, a setback, a heartbreak, a loss is only the doorway to the rise Allah has written for you? You're standing in a moment you don't understand, but Allah sees the entire story. And the day you accept His plan, not just with your tongue, but with your heart, that is the day you rise. Because rising doesn't begin when life becomes easier. Rising begins the moment your heart bows to His wisdom. Wisdom. When you stop fighting what Allah has chosen for you. When you stop asking why it happened and start trusting that it had to happen. When you stop trying to control every turn in your life and surrender to the one who knows every unseen detail. That surrender is not weakness. It is the beginning of strength. Every storm that shook you was written to wake you. Every hardship that pressed you was designed to shape you. Every tear you shed was counted by the Lord who never wastes your pain. Allah carries every moment of your story with perfect knowledge, perfect power and perfect mercy. So let the world misunderstand you. Let people leave. Let plans fall apart. Because nothing can break you when you accept the plan of the one who holds your heart. Think about your life. How many times did you beg for something you thought was good, only to later realize Allah protected you by not giving it? How many times did you cry over something you lost, only to discover later that it wasn't meant to stay? How many times did you feel like your life was ending, but in reality Allah was pushing you toward the beginning you needed all along? When you accept Allah's plan, you stop living in fear of what you can't see. You start living in trust of the one who sees everything. Endado. And understand this, Allah never plans small. When He delays for greatness. When He removes for better. When He tests to elevate. When He closes a door, He writes a new path no human could have opened for you. You're worried about the next chapter, but Allah already wrote the ending. And if He is the author, you will rise. Sometimes Allah will break your heart to rebuild your soul. Sometimes He will remove what you love to replace it with what you need. Sometimes He will write loneliness so He can bring you closer to Him. Sometimes He will put you in the dark so that you finally search for His light. And when you find it, when you truly find it, nothing in the world can ever replace it again. Because the rise that begins with Allah is a rise that never falls. When you accept His plan, the burden on your chest begins to lift. You start waking up knowing that whatever comes today is chosen by the one who loves you more than you will ever understand. You stop breaking under pressure because you know Allah is strengthening you. You stop overthinking the future because you know Allah already perfected it. You stop comparing your journey with others because you know Allah tailored your path specifically for you. For you. You rise when you stop saying "Why me?" and start saying "Guide me." You rise when you stop chasing people and start returning to prayer. You rise when you stop complaining and start trusting. You rise when you stop seeing obstacles and start seeing divine direction. You rise when you make peace with the truth that Allah does not write mistakes. Not in your life, not in your destiny, not ever. This world will break you, but Allah will rebuild you. This world will confuse you, but Allah will guide you. This world will disappoint you, but Allah will never fail you. And the moment you anchor your heart to Him instead of this temporary world, your entire life begins to transform. Your sadness becomes a doorway. Your struggle becomes a lesson. Your pain becomes fuel. Your doer becomes a weapon, and your faith becomes your rise. There will be days when nothing makes sense. Days when you feel lost. Days when you feel weak. Days when your heart is heavy with tests you never expected. But remember, Allah is never closer to you than in the moments you feel like falling. He is never more gentle than when you are breaking. He is never more merciful than when you call on Him through tears. Even the moments that hurt the most carry the seeds of the rise He has written for you. And when the rise begins, you will see it. You will feel it. You will understand why you had to walk through storms, why you had to lose people, why you had to cry, why you had to be patient. You will see that every unanswered dua was an answered prayer in disguise. Every delay was protection. Every hardship was purification. Every setback was preparation. Allah was building you for what you couldn't see. So breathe, trust, surrender. Let go of what you wanted and embrace what Allah chose. Say, I trust your plan even when I don't understand it. Say, I accept what you give and what you take. Say, my life is safe in your hands. Because the moment you accept Allah's plan, that exact moment you begin to rise in ways the world cannot stop. You rise with faith. You rise with faith. You rise with patience. You rise with gratitude. You rise with tawakkul. You rise with the certainty that Allah is with you, guiding you, protecting you, loving you, and preparing you for something far greater than anything you ever imagined. And when Allah raises a person, no force on earth can bring them down. You rise the moment your heart whispers, "Ya Allah, I trust you even when my eyes can't see the way." Because trust in Allah is not built in comfort. Trust is born in the nights you cried alone. It is shaped in the moments you felt forgotten by the world. It is strengthened in the chapters where nothing made sense but you still held on to Him. Those moments are not signs of weakness. They are the soul's training. They are the soul's training. They are the hidden classrooms where Allah teaches you who He is and who you are meant to become. And when you finally accept His plan, you start seeing life differently. You stop seeing pain as punishment and begin seeing it as purification. You stop seeing delays as denials and begin seeing them as divine timing. You stop seeing closed doors as rejection and begin seeing them as protection. Allah's plan does not revolve around your comfort. It revolves around your growth. And growth often requires the very things you tried to avoid. Sometimes Allah will delay what you desire because He is rewriting you before He writes your blessings. Sometimes He tests you not to break you but to reveal your strength. Sometimes He puts you through loneliness because the noise around you was distracting you from Him. And sometimes He will let you fall just so you learn how to rise. But a rise written by Allah is different from every rise you've imagined. It does not come from pride, ego, or self-glory. It comes from humility, surrender, and the certainty that Allah is the one lifting you. Every trial you faced was a message. Every heartbreak was a lesson. Every loss was a reminder. Allah was telling you, come back to me. Stay with me. Trust me. Trust me. Because the day you trust His plan is the day you stop living as a victim of life and start living as a servant of the Most Merciful. You begin to breathe differently. You begin to walk differently. You begin to think differently. You begin to see every moment as a conversation with the one who never abandons His creation. And maybe today you're in a chapter that hurts. Maybe you're fighting battles no one knows about. Maybe your heart is tired. Maybe you're carrying a burden heavier than your words can explain. But listen closely, Allah chose this chapter for you. Not to crush you, not to punish you, but to elevate you, because every rise requires a climb. And every climb requires strength. And every strength is built through endurance. Allah is building you even in the silence, especially in the silence. Your rise will not be loud at first. It will be subtle. It will begin inside you. One day you'll wake up with a little more peace than yesterday. One day you'll realize the thing that once terrified you no longer holds the same power. One day you'll feel something lighten in your chest. One day you'll smile without forcing it. That's the rise Allah gives, quiet, steady, unshakable. And when He decides it is time for you to rise outwardly, the world will witness a transformation they can't explain. People will wonder how you healed. They will wonder how you stayed patient. They will wonder how you kept going. But they won't know the nights you cried in sujood. They won't know the du'as you whispered with trembling hands. They won't know the pain you carried in silence. They won't know the moments you wanted to give up but chose to trust Allah instead. Your rise will be a testimony of your faith, not your strength. When you accept Allah's plan, you rise above the need for validation. You rise above fear of the unknown. You rise above the disappointments. You rise above the trials. You rise above the whispers of doubt. Because you know every second of your life is unfolding under His mercy. And the one who has Allah has everything. Look at the prophets. Look at their stories. Not one of them rose without struggle. Not one of them found ease without hardship. Not one of them walked a path free of pain. Yet every one of them rose higher than any human in history. Why? Because they accepted Allah's plan even when they didn't fully understand it. They surrendered. They trusted. They walked forward with faith. And Allah raised them. So what makes you think you are forgotten? What makes you think your pain is wasted? What makes you think your story ends in sadness? Allah's plan for you is greater than your fears, greater than your heartbreak, greater than your losses, greater than everything you thought you wanted. And when it unfolds, you will thank Him for every tear, every delay, every trial, every no, every storm that forced you to seek His shelter. Allah knows when your heart is ready. Allah knows when your path is clear. Allah knows when your blessings will not harm you. Allah knows when your character is strong enough to carry what you asked for. That is why His plan always arrives at the perfect moment. Never late. So let go. Breathe deeply. Release the weight of trying to control what is not meant for you. Stop chasing things that pull you away from peace. Stop worrying about people who don't stay. Stop fighting chapters that were written to end. Accept what Allah writes for you with trust, even when it shakes you, because the shake is preparing the rise. And when the moment comes, the moment Allah lifts you, every hardship will make sense. Every wound will feel worth it. Every closed door will look like a blessing. Every unanswered prayer will finally reveal its wisdom. You will rise into a place that feels like home. You will rise into peace that no one can take from you. You will rise into blessings that fit your soul. You will rise into the life Allah always intended for you. And no matter who doubted you, no matter who left you, no matter who counted you out, Allah will raise you in a way that even your own heart didn't expect. Because when you accept Allah's plan, you rise spiritually, emotionally, mentally, beautifully, powerfully, toward the destiny written just for you. You rise when you finally stop trying to rewrite what Allah already perfected. You rise when you understand that the plan you wanted could never compare to the plan Allah prepared. Because His plan is not based on your limited vision, it is based on His unlimited wisdom. You see only what is in front of you, but Allah sees every moment of your past, every emotion in your heart, every danger ahead, every blessing coming, every whisper you never said aloud. When you accept what He writes, you aren't giving up, you're stepping into divine protection. And the truth is, some of the greatest rises in your life will begin with moments that feel like breaking. You don't rise because life is perfect. You rise because Allah transforms the very things meant to destroy you into the very things that build you. That heartbreak that made you crumble, it softened your heart so you could return to Him. That disappointment that crushed your expectations, it shifted your path to something better. That betrayal that shattered your trust, it taught you that the only trust that never breaks is trust in Allah. The pain was not the end, it was the beginning of your elevation. When you accept Allah's plan, something inside you changes. You start seeing the world for what it is, temporary. You stop chasing people who were never written to stay. You stop holding on to things that were meant to be released. You stop forcing outcomes that were never yours to control. Your heart becomes lighter, calmer, clearer. You begin to understand that nothing is taken except to be replaced with something better. Nothing is delayed except to be delivered at the perfect moment. Nothing is written except with purpose. And you learn something else, something powerful. Acceptance is not passive. Acceptance is powerful action. It means you choose faith over fear. It means you choose patience over panic. It means you choose surrender over stress. It means you choose trust over doubt. Acceptance is not saying you're okay with everything that happens. It's saying you're okay knowing Allah is in control even when you're not. The day you reach that level of trust, you rise above everything that once held you down. You rise above the anxieties, you rise above the fears. You rise above the heartbreaks. You rise above the past. Because you no longer live chained to what hurt you. You live guided by the one who heals you. And Allah has a way of healing that no human can match. He heals your heart through moments you didn't expect. He heals you through prayers you whispered months ago. He heals you through opportunities you never saw coming. He heals you through strength you didn't know you had. He heals you through guidance that appears exactly when you're about to lose hope. That is the rise that comes from Allah, a rise that builds you quietly, deeply, beautifully. Maybe you're still waiting for that rise. Maybe you're still in the chapter where acceptance feels heavy. Maybe you're still struggling to let go. But listen, Allah never rushes your. He prepares you for it. He strengthens your heart. He cleanses your intentions. He removes what would have harmed you. He teaches you through the delays. He purifies you through the difficulties. Because the rise written for you is not small. It is a rise that requires a foundation. And Allah builds that foundation through every moment you thought was a setback. Every tear you wiped alone brought you closer to the rise. Every silent dua you whispered in desperation prepared your soul. Every sleepless night you endured strengthened your resilience. Every moment you wondered why this was happening shaped your understanding. Allah was not ignoring you. He was crafting you. And when the rise arrives, it will make sense. The pieces will fit. The wounds will fade. The fears will quiet. The heart will settle. You will look back and realize that the very things you begged Allah to remove were the things that turned you into the person capable of receiving the blessings you have now. When you accept Allah's plan, you rise into a version of yourself you didn't know existed. A version that trusts more deeply. A version that has patience engraved in its heart. a version that understands the beauty of timing, a version that speaks with gratitude, a version that walks with purpose, a version that sees life through the lens of faith. And rising does not always look like success in the eyes of the world. Sometimes rising means you finally found peace. Sometimes it means you released what was destroying you. Sometimes it means you stopped chasing temporary happiness. Sometimes it means your heart is closer to Allah than it has ever been. That is the highest rise of all. You rise when you realize that nothing is taken without a reason. You rise when you understand that Allah's not yet is not a rejection. You rise when you accept that closure is not always given by people, it's given by Allah. You rise when you learn to say Alhamdulillah even when you don't understand the chapter. You rise when you stop begging for what was never written and start embracing what is coming. And what is coming is better, always better. Because Allah does not write endings for believers. He writes transitions. He writes new beginnings. He writes transformations that take you to heights you never imagined. Your rise is not behind you. It is ahead of you. So walk with your head high, your heart soft, your faith steady. Walk knowing Allah chose you for the journey you're on. Walk knowing every moment is divinely placed. Walk knowing that acceptance is the key to peace. Walk knowing that your rise begins the moment you say, Ya Allah, I trust your plan more than I trust my own. Because when you accept Allah's plan, you don't just rise, you rise in a way no force in this world can stop. You rise with His light. You rise with His mercy, you rise with His guidance. You rise into the life written only for you, and nothing written for you will ever miss you. You rise the moment you understand that every chapter Allah writes is wrapped in mercy, even the ones that break you. Sometimes He writes storms to wash away what was weakening you. Sometimes He writes delays to protect you from what you thought you wanted. Sometimes He writes silence to teach you who to rely on. And sometimes He writes pain to open doors inside your heart that joy never could. Because pain softens what ego hardens. Pain humbles what pride blinds. Pain brings you closer to Allah in a way comfort never will. When you accept Allah's plan, your soul becomes free. Free from the grip of overthinking. Free from fear of tomorrow. Free from attachment to what cannot stay. Free from the illusion that you must control everything. You realize the weight you carried for years was never yours. It belonged to the one who already promised, indeed my plan is perfect. And when a servant truly believes that, their entire world changes. Acceptance does not mean you stop wanting good things. It means you trust that the good written for you will come exactly when it is meant to. It means you trust that what leaves you is not better than what Allah will send you. It means you trust that what is delayed is not denied. It is being prepared. It means you trust that Allah is never early and never late. His timing is not aligned with your impatience. His timing is aligned with your growth. And one day you'll thank Him for the timing. You'll thank Him for the people who left. You'll thank Him for the doors that closed. You'll thank Him for the prayers that weren't answered the way you wanted. Because when the rise He wrote for you appears, you will see the wisdom in every moment that confused you, hurt you, or tested you. You rise when you realize that Allah never withholds anything without offering something greater in return. If He takes, He gives better. If He delays, He gives greater. If He tests, He raises your rank. If He breaks your heart, He fills it with something far more lasting than what you lost. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. Every detail of your journey is written with precision. The hardest part is not the test. It's resisting the urge to question Allah's plan in the middle of it. Your heart wants answers. Your mind wants clarity. Your soul wants peace. But Allah wants you to trust first. And trust is most powerful when you trust without seeing, when you walk without knowing the destination, when you hold on to Allah even when everything around you feels unstable. That is where the rise begins, when you worship even while hurting, when you love Allah even while confused, when you obey Him even while struggling. This is the rise that no one sees but Allah rewards openly, and maybe you're standing in a moment right now where you don't feel strong enough. Maybe you're trying to accept something that still hurts. Maybe you're trying to let go of something your heart is still holding on to. Maybe you're tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of trying. But listen carefully. Allah would not put you here if He didn't know you could handle it. He would not write this chapter if it wasn't necessary for your growth. He would not let your heart break unless He planned to rebuild it stronger. You rise when you stop trying to outrun the lesson. You rise when you let the pain shape you instead of harden you. You rise when you choose to heal instead of hide. You rise when you choose faith over fear, even if it trembles inside you. You rise when you say, Allah knows, and that is enough. And that sentence, Allah knows, is the key to peace. Allah knows your intentions. Allah knows your sincerity. Allah knows your efforts. Allah knows the battles you don't talk about. Allah knows the weight you carry. Allah knows how long you've been patient. And Allah knows the exact moment He will replace your tears with joy. Your rise is coming, but Allah will never rush it. He wants your heart ready. He wants your trust deep. He wants your soul aligned with Him. Because when He gives in ways that elevate, not overwhelm. And rising with Allah is different from rising with the world. The world raises you so people can clap. Allah raises you so your soul can rest. The world raises you based on status. Allah raises you based on sincerity. The world raises you for show. Allah raises you for growth. The world raises you temporarily. Allah raises you eternally. So don't fear your journey. Don't fear the unknown. Don't fear loss. Don't fear change. Don't fear what is written. Everything written for you carries goodness, is wrapped in difficulty first. You are not walking alone. You are walking with the one who controls every outcome. And do not underestimate the power of patience. Patience is not waiting quietly. It is trusting while waiting. It is believing while hurting. It is enduring without quitting. Patience is the bridge between your hardship and your rise. And when Allah sees you crossing that bridge with sincerity, He writes for you what no human could ever prevent. You rise when you understand that your story is not a collection of accidents. Your story is a divine design. Every person you met, every path you walked, every test you faced, every blessing you received, each one was a thread in a tapestry only Allah could weave. And when you step back and see it from above, you will realize that everything was always leading you somewhere beautiful. You rise when you stop wishing for a different life and start trusting Allah with the life He chose for you. Because the life He chose is the life that will bring you closest to Him. And closeness to Him is the greatest rise of all.